what's going on, everyone? It's Chris, and welcome to the brand new Jozea podcast. Yes, welcome, everyone.
What the
it is
fuck?
all things Jozea.
Oh,
I'm
you
your
are a
host.
fucking asshole.
I am your host, Jozea Maniac, and I am joined by my good friend, Go Jozea 7-Eleven.
Fuck you. God damn it.
Jozea podcast.
That was very well done.
We're gonna talk about how he's gonna host the Grammys, how he's gonna be the new host of The Amazing Race, how he will be the president of the United States in the next upcoming election. Jozea everything.
The fuck are you?
Oh my god.
God damn it, Chris.
Well, welcome to the Big Brother podcast, everyone. I am joined by Gocubs and 11, and we are here to talk about this past week of Big Brother. And
Ryan.
it has been, what a week it has been. I've enjoyed a lot of it. I know a lot of controversy already, a lot of stupidity out of the gate, but everything that we love about Big Brother.
Sure.
So let's get right into it. Where did we leave off? It was
I don't fucking remember.
It was the premiere episode. So we know who gets nominated. We have Jozea and Paulie up on the block. Now Jozea and Paulie, Jozea feels like he should be good. He has his little posse going on. And you know, everyone's pretty set on, okay, let's see what happens with the veto, but a new twist comes into play.
Sunday.
Yeah, so all of a sudden Nicole comes out of the DR and she's gathers everyone around the living room. Gocubs, please explain what this new twist is.
Alright, so there's new competition called Beaver Roadkill. A fucking RV gets parked in the backyard. That sounds safe. And then everyone goes inside, does the challenge individually, much like past HOH and, well, mostly veto competitions, where you just do it individually. And then whoever wins that competition gets to secretly finds out that they won, and then secretly gets to nominate a third nominee.
Yep. And it sounds very much like the MVP twist from a few seasons ago, but this time around, a competition decides who gets this power, not America voting, which I liked because I think it's more fair that way.
It's totally more fair. It actually affects the fucking game.
Right.
It doesn't make anyone go out on bullshit.
Right. It doesn't hand America like all this power in the game. Like it's not necessary. So we are we're pretty happy about it all. So we're gonna hope for the fact that this twist is gonna work out well. So we have Jozea and Paulie sitting on the block, and they can compete for the roadkill. Nicole, who's the head of household, can also compete for the roadkill, and everyone else, pretty much everyone gets to play for the roadkill. So, the big thing about it, though, too, is that you could also secretly nominate someone that's actually on your team. So that's a big deal. So you don't have to worry about the team twist at all when it comes to the roadkill. So we actually get to the RV, and can you explain the competition that unfolded?
All right. So basically, everyone is wearing clothes, and the objective of the game is to take off your clothes.
But
while you're doing that, there are 3 buttons that you have to keep pressed at all times. And if one button isn't pressed, you're being timed, and you have to do it as quickly as possible. If one button isn't pressed, the timer speeds up by 30. If 2 buttons aren't pressed, by 60, and if all 3 buttons aren't pressed, by 120. That fucking adds up a lot.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So it really
competitive stripping.
It was really a unique challenge, but
I liked it, honestly.
Yeah, the concept did end up working out well. So everyone was just tearing off their clothes with their teeth and or whatever works out best for them. And they all got down to their bikinis and swim shorts and all that. And so it was perfect for all the people that want eye candy. So
Yeah.
they get through the challenge, and we don't know who the winner is right at the gate. But what happens is that after everyone is done completing the challenge on their own, everyone gathers in the backyard, and there are a bunch of like, I want to say like the tool chests, tackle boxes scattered around the backyard with people's names on them, and each person has to go to their tackle box, open up the box, and see whether or not they won the challenge. They are not obligated to tell anyone if they won the challenge or not. So everyone goes to their tackle box. They start to open up. You see like the cuts. The people go into each the camera go into each person. Paul didn't get it. Natalie didn't get it. Jose for a second, like it flashed to him, and my heart was like, oh god.
Yeah, and the music started to climax. Like, you know how in Survivor when a challenge is about to finish, the music climaxes, drops away, and then like comes back in after they won the challenge. That's what it was doing when it was on Jose.
Yeah, and then they're like, no, he's a loser too. And then it goes to Frank, and Frank opens it up, and it's a winner. So Frank gets the roadkill, and he has the power to nominate the first ever roadkill nominee. And the group gathers around, and they're like, oh, and by the way, we have a big alliance now. It's called the 8-Pack.
Yes.
And it's the 4 veterans, Frank, Nicole, James, and Devon, in addition to Corey and Tiffany, so Nicole's team, Zakia, who's part of Devon's team, and Michelle, who's part of Frank's team. They all gathered in, and they all got into an alliance, and they left Paulie out of it, but Paulie's kind of with them too, considering he went on the block for them. So,
yeah.
It's a large group of for an alliance. We'll see how that pans out over time, because it usually doesn't. So yeah, you have that whole big alliance there, and they decided who would be the best person to put up there, and Frank was like, how about get someone that is kind of like overzealous, someone that is crazy in the house, put him up on the block, someone that is basically an ally of Jose as well.
Yeah.
And so Frank decides to nominate Paul. So Paul is now on the block. Paul, Jose, and Paulie, so all the Pauls, go on the block, and they all are now moving on to the veto competition. And an additional thing that happened on the Sunday episode was the mystery punishment.
Yes.
The mystery punishment was it was kind of like, it's like Sims-esque type thing, where they blur out the nude people in the game. Well, that's basically what the losing team, Frank, Bridget, Michelle, and Paulie, had to wear for a whole week and a half, basically. Was wear these pixel like underwear that was like covering up their junk and their breasts, just for the girls anyway, their breasts, and nothing else. So it was a pretty devastating punishment, and then after a while it just kind of got boring. for people that were on the live feeds, they're like, all right, we get it, put these guys out of their misery.
Yeah.
But they had to wear it for a long time, but luckily now they're finally in clothes going into next week. So did we talk about the have-not room too, or have we not discussed that?
I don't think we did yet.
So the have-not room, the have-nots, by the way, are Devon's team. So it's Devon, Paul, Jose, and Zakia. and they went into the have not room, and it is a circus theme. Yeah, yeah, it was. I like it because they had like a bunch of bumper car beds, and they, as much as they do look comfortable, they probably are. Those like the leg where you had to like sleep with your legs out, like it's gonna be really tough because you really have to squish yourself in there. So probably not the best seating arrangements, but what you gotta do.
Yeah.
But that was the have not room, and then in addition to that, they have the BB slab, which we still don't know what the fuck that's made out of, and cold showers. So
Yep.
they have to deal with a bunch of bad shit. So Jose walked away from the roadkill thing, and he was like, "All right, I'm confident. I have the majority. All right, I have the majority, no matter what. I cannot be stopped. So now let's turn the target on Paulie. Who's the next? Who's the better target to get out if the veterans can't go up? A veteran sibling. So that was his logic to targeting Paulie, and he thought, yeah, we're gonna easily be able to get him out. So they get to the veto competition, and they picked the players, and it was Devon and Corey who are competing with these guys, and a very interesting concept to the veto picking as well.
Yeah, like if the names of everyone who was already going to compete in the competition were up there, were in the box, and if one of the names was drawn, that person got to pick whoever they wanted.
Yeah, so it was basically like a house guest choice, but for the people, for like all four of them.
Yeah.
If their name was drawn, and Nicole actually got that her name, and she was able to pick Corey. So, not a good sign for Jose or Paul. So they really have to play for themselves here to get themselves off the block. So then they get to the veto competition, and all six of them dress up in dog suits. And go ahead and actually, if you want, do you remember the competition from Wednesday?
The competition was they had to spin around on spinner. Yeah, those are words.
Yeah.
And after they spin around like 15 times, a timer would go off for about 45 seconds, in which they then had to run across the yard, grab these foam dog treats, and start stacking them in a way so that they wouldn't fall. They were on like two small pedestals, but they had to stack them so that they wouldn't fall down. And then they had to make sure that their timer never reached zero, because if it did, then they were out of the challenge.
Yeah, so the combination of dizziness and having to build was very tough for everyone. Jose decided to build a heart because he felt that would be stable. It wasn't.
Okay, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So in the diary room confessions, Jose was saying how he had the best strategy ever and how he was smoking the competition. His was the most unstable, and he was the farthest behind in the competition the entire fucking time.
Yeah, he really was delusional.
How did you think that what you were doing was not necessarily working, but the best plan?
Right. I know, man. I know. It's really, he really just did not know what the fuck was happening ever in the house. He has not realized anything. So, so then we have Paul, who basically is not stacking anything, but he's just kind of like making a pile on top of things and see if that worked. And it did.
Worked. It worked.
So Paul ends up winning the veto, and now Frank has the responsibility of having to nominate someone else. But luckily, no one has figured out at all who the roadkill guy was. Jose thought he had to figure it out. He was like, "Oh, it's Michelle." No, it's not. It's not even close.
Nope. You're a fucking idiot.
So then Frank's like, "Okay, so who do I nominate?" in comes the best part of the summer thus far. So we have, uh, you know, Jose decides to host a house meeting, and he brings in Devon, Sakia, Bronte, Natalie, Victor, Paul, and then James just came in because he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
James just is like, what? Oh, look at the
Secret
fucking
meeting.
Yes.
Secret meeting.
Which was actually hilarious because what they didn't show on the show was that they were actually gonna talk bad about James in the meeting, but James was just like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And he just came strolling in, and they were like, "Fuck." It was hilarious. But Bridget was told by Natalie to go spy. You had to go spy since you're. Oh, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
So
Spy
Bridget,
Girls Alliance.
Yes, there's a Spy Girls Alliance too.
Bridget,
With
Natalie, and Nicole.
Nicole.
Or, not Natalie.
Uh,
Bridget, Natalie.
and
Yes, Natalie and
Bronte. There you go. So Bronte,
yeah.
Bridget,
Sorry.
and Natalie. All formed this Spy Girl Alliance, and it was like it was cool and all, but they did it all in front of Tiffany, and Tiffany was like, "Really, guys?
Yeah.
Really?" So they have their the 3-girl alliance, and it's very obvious to now. It's gonna be obvious to everyone that they have an alliance now, but now Bridget is now set up to start her spying duties, on the household room.
Why is this so poorly done?
So Bridget goes all the way up to the household room. Natalie and Bronte are headed to the have not room.
Jose's secret meeting.
Yeah,
Jose's still wearing his Vito dog costume.
Dude, he was wearing it all week. It was either that or he was walking around in his underwear. It was either or.
The fact that he would take it off and put it back on.
Yeah, he did. I don't know why he was doing it, but he was. So Jose was just kind of like, "Oh, we need to get out Paulie. We all gotta stick together." Meanwhile, Devon, Sakia, and James are just listening in. Tiffany ends up joining the crowd, and they're like, "Oh yeah, definitely." Meanwhile, in the diary room, James and Devon are like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?"
Yeah.
This is the weirdest thing ever because you think that we're all on your side, but we're not. So meanwhile, Bridget is like being like, "Nah, I don't want to be part of that meeting. I'm here just to hang out, yo." Just really, I guess at the time she wasn't being too suspicious, but
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, Jose during his meeting was like, "Oh, where's Bridget?" And Bronte was like, "Oh, we sent her to
We sent her to spy.
spy."
Thank God you told them your plan.
And Devon and Sakia are like, "Oh, thanks. That's some information we could tell Nicole." Thanks. Goodbye. So it was just really poorly done, and now Bridget has a target on her back because she was trying to spy on the household room, and that caused Frank to nominate his own teammate, Bridget. So Bridget goes up on the block since Paul took himself off, and again, I find that I found that whole thing hilarious because Jose just did not give a fuck at all. He felt like he was ruling the house. He kept on calling himself President Obama, Messiah.
Can I say one more thing about Jose?
Jose. Yeah.
All right, so he was shocked when Paul got put up as a nominee, and I get that. You don't know who the BB Roadkill winner was, and it's like, oh damn, it's someone in my alliance. I'm fucked. I'm fucked should be a response that you get, but for some reason he didn't.
Right.
But it was like, okay, someone on the other side of the house probably won it. That's what you should have thought. And then when Bridget gets up, someone else on your alliance, you are also shocked. The BB Roadkill winner didn't change.
Right.
They want your alliance to be gone.
Well,
it's so frustrating.
One of my favorite things that happened too is that Paul was just like, I better find out who that Roadkill winner is. They might still be in this house.
They might still be in this house.
Yep, it's like oh yeah, because Glenn was definitely
Or
around for
Jose.
Roadkill.
Like, did he say that before or after Jose was eliminated?
I think no, before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
it was really ridiculously dumb.
Oh my god.
So,
Ah.
so we get to Thursday's episode, and we already have had our batch of Jose entertainment, but we're pretty sure, yeah, he's probably going home. So, they go through the whole like Jose trying to maybe turn the tables on, turn the tables on Paulie, but actually no, he didn't even do anything. He was just kind of like, yeah, I'm safe. I got my majority. I'm all good.
But you didn't.
Yeah.
But you didn't, sweetie.
Yeah. He did, sweetie. But and then they do the editing in the show, and they're like, oh, but maybe Bridget's the right. No, don't believe any of the Big Brother editing on that part. Bridget was never even considered. People forgot that she was even a nominee.
Yeah.
So they were just throwing that in, just kind of throw some suspicion in. There was really no way that she was gonna get any votes. So some things that we also learned from the Thursday episode. The Fatal Five was created, which is a girls' alliance that has stemmed from the 8-pack. So that is Nicole, Devon, Zakiya, Tiffany, and Michelle. So they are all together, working together, and they're like, you know what? This is the year that the girls are going to win. And so far, so good. I mean, it's obvious already that Jose's going. And Glenn's already gone, so that's already 2 guys out of the gate.
Yeah.
The girls are already dominating the house, and may I also add, some of the best game players in the house right now too.
Yeah, honestly.
So, I think
I can see go far. I'm down with it.
Absolutely, I am too. So, the girls' alliance, they're gonna hopefully stick together, as well as and then in the meantime they have the rival alliance, the Spy Girls. So there's 2 girls' alliances going on that rival each other. I'm really hoping that becomes a main storyline down the road. So then I forget what was the okay. Let's talk about this. So we have another part of the episode which was highly edited. So I'm gonna give you the real what actually happened. So Victor's an asshole. We'll just say that Victor is an asshole. He's a little sexist, I think, but he's very he's just very judgmental, it seems.
Yeah.
And very quick to nitpick at people.
And be loved, bitch. You're gonna be hated either way.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's right. He did say that. God damn. And so did Corey. They're like the 2 most hated guys right now in the house. So you have Natalie get upset about him just constantly being annoying with the standing on her pants and then commenting about that, commenting on her weight, and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So Natalie goes into the bedroom, the London bedroom that's there. Is hanging out with a bunch of girls and James, and they're like, Natalie's just kind of going on about Victor, and then they're like, James is like, all right, we're having girl talk right now, and they're all like laying in bed, and James like, yeah, this is GT, and Bridget's like, yeah, it's girl talk, and so then Paul comes into the room, and Paul is just like, hey, what's up, and then James is like, you might want to leave because we're having girl talk. What they left out of the show is that Bridget also added to the fact that it was girl talk, and that was what really made Paul mad, was Bridget kind of trying to get Paul out of the room type thing.
Yeah.
Because Bridget's actually on their side. So Paul leaves with Bronte, and Paul's really mad right now, and he's like, well, I come into this room and I'm getting called out to leave. It's fucking bullshit. And if someone tells me again that they're gonna have girl talk, I'm gonna punch someone in the face, always with the empty threats.
About edgelord.
Yeah, and then Bronte's just like, you have to calm down. This is not something to freak out over. And then they have their own little squabble about like the way that Bronte kind of like babies Paul, and Bronte just like, gets fed up with Paul, walks away. Meanwhile, another thing that Big Brother conveniently leaves out is Paul calling James little Korean man quite a few times over. And then later on, when Bronte was talking, well, actually, I'm gonna hold off on that for a second because Nicole does end up talking to Victor, and this is some live feed updates here. Nicole ends up, I'm sorry, Natalie talks to Victor. So Natalie talks to Victor, and they have like a heart-to-heart type thing, and Natalie brings up the fact that James told her, and this is true, that Victor tried to ask out Nicole. So I don't know. That's kind of weird to tell Natalie, but I guess that's what James wanted to do, and whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter. So it shouldn't really. So, Natalie questions Victor on that, and Victor tries to really play it off. Like, James is lying to you. What are you talking about? I never asked Nicole out, which apparently he actually did. So, then that starts the war of James, and really people, again, started to really hate on James. That sixum of the spy girls and the buffoons of Jose, Paul, and Victor just fucking going at each other. Going at James basically, and just shitting on James behind his back, and that leads to Paul calling him again and again a little Korean man, and Bronte with the comment, "I'm gonna send his ass back to Hong Kong," which sent Twitter in a storm. And people are gonna, there's some people there are gonna be like, "Oh, that's not racist." Well, it kind of is. It is. I don't know how it's not, but regardless of all that, it really was just a weird thing that all happened, because it really was stemming from fucking petty bullshit.
Yeah.
And they kind of emphasized that, and Jose and his DRs was like, "Well, you guys are gonna get me evicted if you keep on yelling and screaming all the time." So, yeah. I don't know, Jose. So, we get to the vote finally, right? We finally get to this vote, and Jose, he gives his speech. He's just like, "I'm an honest person. I would never lie to anyone. I'm straightforward," and all like that. His same old speech that he's given. Paulie basically like, "I love you guys. You could vote to keep me in. You can vote not." Then he does some sort of weird, like mafia type impersonation where he's just like, "If you vote to keep me in, that's good. If you vote me out, you'll never see this face again." And he just sits down. I don't know what that was about. Guess it's an inside joke.
It's a pop culture reference.
Oh, is it? I have no idea about it. And then Bridget is just like, "Guys, don't vote me out," and she sits down. So, so then we get
listen to one of them,
right. So they get to the vote, and there's a few times that it ties and all that. It's just drama, but the vote ends up being 7-4, and the Messiah has left the building. Jose.
I want to know why.
Yeah, I was so upset because he promised. No,
Fuck you.
Hold on. Not the fact that he was evicted. I was upset that he didn't cause more drama.
Oh, okay.
I was upset that he did, because he promised.
Didn't say a fucking word.
He promised that he was gonna go out guns blazing, and Paul and Victor were gonna yell at everyone. None of them did that, and Jose just aggressively hugged everyone and left. It was so
didn't make eye
disappointing.
contact. Didn't say a word.
It was so it was definitely like you felt the blind side and everything, and if he did give all the false promises, then I would have been okay with this. But they lied, and they're just like everything they have done thus far. It's all empty threats that they give.
Yeah.
So, goddamn, man. So Jose,
I'm gonna end the podcast forever. What I do, I'm gonna yell you out, cuss you out,
right?
Give you what you deserve.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and when we actually get to there, well, it was nice having the podcast with you, man. Yeah, you too. So, yeah. So Jose goes. Although, again, I will say this. I know you're going to say "fuck you" again, but He was very entertaining on the feeds. He was feeds gold. But no, yeah, he needed to go. He needed to go. So he's out now, and uh, I don't know. I guess Julie had his interview with him, and he was just kind of saying like, I think the people that turned on me, they will have their day.
They didn't fucking turn on you if they weren't by your side in the first place.
Right.
That's
exactly
how it works.
Yeah, so he was just like, they will have their day.
It's called a hustle, sweetheart.
So goddamn. So they have Devon and Nicole, Frank, or was it Paulie? Paulie was one of them, and Paul. They all had their goodbyes to say to him in the for like when they say their goodbyes in the diary room and all that. Nothing really too interesting. Paulie was probably the most aggressive in being like, you never underestimate the California, bro. So whatever.
Califury. I want him to say that at some point.
Califury, oh my god. And he gets like the spiked hair. Like Dragon Ball Z.
It turns into an
so Jose then gets asked by Julie, what would you do if you had a second chance at the game? And Jose was like, I'd close my mouth a lot more, I'd just align myself with one person. And Julie was like, well, you may have an opportunity. Gocubs, what is that opportunity?
So the opportunity is Redemption Island Big Brother Edition.
Yep.
So Jose is going to compete in a competition against Glenn. Nobody's going to know what it fucking is, or who won. And then the next person that gets evicted is going to face the winner of that, and so on. They do that with the first 5 people evicted.
Yes.
And then whoever is still left at the end gets back in the game.
Yeah, I like this concept. The only problem I have with it is that it all happens at once. Actually, you know what? I don't even mind that. I'm fine with that. My problem is if it's not live. If it's not live, I'm gonna be I'm a little I'm a little hesitant about when Big Brother does stuff like this, because I'm like, you have these guys outside of the house. You are the only ones that communicate this to them. I'm worried that they could get like paid off and stuff. Like I don't like calling Big Brother rigged at any point, but they have had something in the past that happened where they have tried to twist the game in their favor. So it only happened once, but everyone's always kind of like on their edge and always always ready to call the show rigged at some point. So to me, the way I see it though is that whoever goes into the house, they're still not guaranteed to win, and more than likely, people are going to be like, let's just get this guy back out.
It's like only the first 5 people.
Right, exactly, and that person will still have to they would still have to get back in and then somehow steamroll everyone.
Yeah.
So I'm Team Glenn right now. I'm Team Glenn. I want Glenn to be back in. I feel like he got screwed. I think he deserves a chance to redeem himself.
Well, we'll see. After everyone has already formed their relationships, I don't think Glenn is the type of person that can Steve through a game.
Oh no, I'm more just for someone to get back into the game.
Yeah.
Like, I want Glenn to at least experience a week of Big Brother, because he didn't really experience that. He experienced competition roulette. So, yeah, that's just me. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm really hoping Jose loses to Glenn, because that would be such a hurt to his ego. To Jose's ego. Oh my god. But yeah, so it's called Battle Back, and we will see that on Friday, July 22nd. So mark your calendars, folks.
Oh, also, okay, we'll keep going.
Yeah. So
I have something to add on to that later.
Yeah, so we have the head of household competition now, and they're in teams again, and their job is to one at a time balance themselves across like 2 paths of like
Wood.
wood, yeah. And there's a shorter path, but that's harder, and there's a longer path that's easier. And then they get to the first end, and they grab a ball, and then they come back through the obstacle course again and put the ball back or into like these 4 rows, these 4 columns, and the first person to put 10 balls in every single column, so 40 balls in all, will win head of household. So and then they would just have to decide which one of them will be the HOH. So
It's real simple.
yeah, so they started out. I believe Natalie fell during the live show, and then that's all we saw. And yeah, if you fell off, you're eliminated. So Natalie was out;
Yeah.
she couldn't be head of household.
Also, the HOH could not compete from last week, but her team still could,
Right, so she could still
and
get
could
immunity.
still win and
Right,
keep her safe from nomination as a result.
right. So yeah, that was basically the Big Brother week in a nutshell. Would you like to add anything to at least add anything that happened this past week that I might have missed, or
Fuck Jose.
yeah,
Fuck his delusions.
yeah.
Why did you? Why were you the way that you were?
He to go into some of the live feed updates from him. My goodness, he was delusional. He was so delusional. He was half of the time he didn't even make any sense. He would say that I know what I have and you know what you have and I will win. You're like, what? wait. And,
I cured cancer the other day, but like they didn't really get my research.
Yeah, he actually said verbatim out of his mouth that he wanted to host the red carpet Grammys. That he thought that he would get that opportunity when he left the house. Yeah, that's what he said. Like I said, he said he's Messiah, he's a savior, he's President Obama.
My God.
Speaking of which, he had many political debates with the house guests in the house, and I never
Can we not talk about this fucker anymore?
No, well, no, I'm just saying, I'm giving the news, all right?
Yeah.
No, it's just that he was really just starting with people for no reason. Like, who gives a shit what other people's political views are? We're not here for that. This is for Big Brother. And he was just a mess. He really thought he ruled the house. Even the way he positioned himself in the house, like literally positioned himself.
Yeah.
Where he would get into he would lie in a bed with the 2 girls, and he'd actually lie in the middle and lay higher up than the 2 of them.
Yeah.
To always show dominance. He was weird. He was a weird dude. He said some crazy kooky things. So yeah, we're gonna move on from Jose.
All right. So
yeah.
Points.
Oh, well, let me just do a few more live feed updates.
Okay.
Sorry. Corey, he's in a little bit of trouble because, well, first of all, one thing that really funny that happened was that when the feeds came on and he didn't realize it, he was making, he was saying, oh, Jose, or I don't know exactly what he said, but he basically insinuated that he wanted to, go out with Jose, but as a joke. And he didn't realize the feeds were on, and then he proceeded to just apologize to the cameras to his dad and mom, who I guess might not be a big fan of gay people, and be like, Mom, Dad, I'm not gay, I swear. It was, to be honest, it was really funny because he was trying so hard. It was just dude, it's not a big deal at all. And since then, people have actually given Corey, they photoshopped Frankie Grande hair on him. And Corey has actually said things that are really gay sounding. He actually told Paul to put his ass in his face.
Okay. All right.
So it's everyone's really, Corey, really? Or I don't know about that.
You sure?
Yeah, you sure about yourself? It's so funny. And then you had but he also had a controversial moment when he started talking about a story where his friends bought a live goat, and proceeded to almost set it on fire and essentially torture the goat. It was not, and he was laughing at it the entire time, and everyone around him was kind of like, "What the fuck?" And like Paul got really defensive. He was like, "Dude, I would never fucking burn a goat. What the fuck is wrong with you?" Yeah. So that was like the one highlight for Paul in my eyes. He was just like, "Well, Paul would never hurt a goat. That's a good thing."
Goats are cool.
Yeah,
except when they stopped the Cubs from winning the World Series.
Oh my god.
I don't believe that bullshit. Like, our teams have just been bad.
Right.
But
yeah.
it's funny to talk about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But no, I was not happy to hear when Corey was kind of like making fun of that and stuff. So he, whatever. He's kind of he's gonna say what he wants, and everyone's gonna get angry at him. Big Brother ain't gonna do anything about it. They've never done anything like that to take someone out of the house for just what they say. So who cares? So that was the controversy with Corey, and I'm trying to remember. I don't think there was much anything else major to talk about other than the fact that Paul, Jose, and Victor were really the dumbasses of the group, and they were. Paul got really drunk one night, and I think he was faking it a little bit, but he got really drunk one night, and he was just running around with fake breasts in his shirt, and his shirt tied like in the bottom, and he was just running around calling himself Patty.
I have a story to tell you once this podcast is done.
and he was just kind of like running around shimmying, and then he passed out on the couch, which led to the scene that they showed on the show of James putting the whipped cream on his hands and trying to get him to sneeze on it instead, and just throw whipped cream at him. So that was a fun night as well. But that other than that, not much excitement on the feeds yet. Nothing that I have to really talk about. So let's get to the points. What's the point system like? Gocubs
All right.
now?
So basically, if you say that something happens and then it happens, you get a point.
Yes. Winner is the only different story.
Yeah, winner if it's first try you get 10 points, if it's second try you get 8 points, third try 5 points, anything beyond that 4 points.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna do our predictions, and we're gonna go from.
Wait, I need to say the points for this week.
Oh, okay, yes, that's right.
For the past week, I said Jose would get evicted. He did, so I got a point. Chris didn't get anything right. How sad! I'm kidding.
This is. So that means
it's 1-0.
Yes, because we didn't get anything right the first week.
We're not carrying over points from Survivor Count Wrong. We're going to do this separately, and then I'll add up the totals at the end.
Right.
To see who.
Yeah.
To see who's there.
Yeah, to see who's there. But right now, you have taken the lead on the season, so I need to get my shit together. We predicted the head of household, both of us, last week, and since the HOH was not revealed, we have to kind of keep those head of household predictions. So, rolling with Paul, who I predicted last week, let's hold on a second. I have to pull it up because there's so many predictions.
Call him up. It sounds like Paul.
Gotcha. So Paul wins HOH. Nominates Tiffany and James. Bronte wins Roadkill and nominates Nicole. But then Corey wins Veto, removes Nicole for the block, and Bronte is forced to nominate Michelle. Tiffany will be evicted next week.
And then who wins HOH after that?
Oh, yes, Frank. I said Frank.
All right, so this is what I'm going to say. I said for some fucking reason that Bronte would win the HOH. Honestly, though, like, I was thinking that either Category 4 or Team Unicorn was going to win the challenge. So, like, maybe they'll give it to Bronte for whatever reason. Maybe that'll be, compromise, because they're not, like, Victor, but she's not. James is with, I don't know. Just trying to rationalize past weeks. Past me's.
Well, we didn't know where Bronte stood, so I understand where you're coming from.
and she's going to nominate Frank and Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Paulie is going to win the roadkill and nominate Paul. Victor is going to win the nomination and probably take Paul off now that I'm looking back at this. So Victor's going to take Paul off. And then as a result, fuck, I didn't think about this because I'm very sorry.
It's all right.
As a result, Paulie is then going to nominate
Well, just
Paulie's going to nominate Zakiya.
Okay.
Because he might think that she's with Victor and Paul or something, I don't know. But then...
Keep in mind, I forgot to add on to this, so just to help you change your prediction, they kind of have a showmance going on. So I'm just saying.
Paul and Zakiya?
Paulie and Zakiya.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Sorry, I should have.
Right.
I should have brought that up. In terms of showmances, it's Paulie and Zakiya that might have a little something going on. Paul really wants Bronte, but Bronte doesn't want Paul. So that was some additional live feed stuff that I forgot to bring up. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead. You can change your prediction now.
I'm gonna change it then to Bridget again.
Okay.
And then Bridget goes home.
All right.
And then Victor wins the next HOH as well. So Victor wins 2 competitions in a row.
Boom. Victor takes the head of household. All right, so that's it. That is our Big Brother podcast.
That's something.
We are through week 1. Nothing too exciting yet, but we hope for some more excitement as we roll on.
All right. Are you fucking kidding me? Jose existed.
That's true. Jose did exist. I guess I'm bitter over how he acted during the eviction.
Okay.
It was a very exciting week. Very crazy and nutty, and now we're gonna have 1 week of chaos now. Not more. Not like a 2.5 week 1 that they had.
Yeah.
So now we're just gonna have 1 week of chaos for every single week now, and it's gonna be great. I cannot wait till double evictions come into play. That'll be fun. So, anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching the Big Brother.
Oh, by the way, the same day that the Battle Back competition happens, BoJack Horseman season 3 premieres. So fucking watch season 1 and 2 before then.
There's your recommendation.
There's
your recommendation. So. There you guys have it. And I hope you all enjoyed the Jose podcast where we talk all things Jose. Make sure you pray to the Jose gods.
Like, comment, and Jose.
Please comment down below. Jose is our savior if you've watched to this point. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Fuck you.
Vote Jose 2016.
Fuck you.